All right, Coach, just give us your thoughts on last week and just give your thoughts on last week's game against Abilene.
Yeah, it was a good test for our team. I think that when you think about openers and really all non-district scheduling for that matter, is that you can schedule for comfort or you can schedule for challenge. And this schedule was set before I got here, but these first few are certainly scheduled for challenge, and I like that. I think that the purpose of your preseason is to build your team to get ready to play when district ball arrives. And I believe I said it last week, I like a banger of an opener, and it just heightens everyone's awareness, and you're forced to minimize mistakes. And in a game like that, you get exposed if you're not just perfect with everything. And what jumped out on the page for me from that game is we played a really quality team, a veteran team with everybody back on that team, and picked to win their district. Just 2 non-offensive touchdowns. It's hard to overcome that in a game that's going to be that tight anyways. I saw this as kind of a 24-21 game kind of going into it. Field position, punting, scoring when the opportunity provided itself, but then just 2 non-offensive touchdowns. And then the quarterback run that was bottled up on the last play of the half, and he's buried back there, and then there he goes. That's kind of 21 points that shouldn't be on the board, in my opinion, but that's what you see when you play quality people, is that, mistakes that you make are magnified. And I like that. I prefer it that way. I'd rather have it that way and prepare ourselves to be playing our best ball, come district schedule.
Coach, again, to your point, the final score doesn't really tell the whole story of the game on how well your defense actually played.
Yeah.
That's something that Central's been missing the last couple of years, and I think that's what encouraged a lot of people was with how well they played. Talk about your defense.
Well, I am proud of them. They did a good job of creating some challenges for Abilene High, and that's a tough offense that we played. That's more formation variation than we will see all season, in terms of they give you one picture, they shift to another picture, goes from empty to 21 personnel, and adding quarterback run game to it. And it just, the formation variation on every down really strains the defense to think, process, and align a certain way. So, that I was proud of the defense. They did a really good job with that. An 81-yard run right there that just shouldn't have happened at the end of the half. And then we had a few third downs where we needed to get off the field, 3rd and longs that they converted. Outside of that, that's a solid defensive effort. It's really something to build on.
Yeah, Coach, you got a lot of pressure, especially in that first half. I think you ended up with four sacks total. That's quite a few more sacks than in the past that this team has ever put together in one game. Just talking about how you're able to get pressure against, like you said, a really talented Abilene High team with a really good offensive line.
Well, I think it's being creative in what you do, and if you look at those pressures there, they're not zero pressures where we got just everybody in straight man and no free safety over the top. I think you can show an overload to one side and then bail guys out and bring it from the other side. You want to create, you understand and you study pass protection. And if you know their tendencies, what they like to do in certain situations, then you can maximize your defensive call to fit that. We want to show this. We know they'll slide it this way, and then here we go the other way. So that's a lot of creativity that comes with that. And the defense did a great job. We were able to show one thing, get them to slide protection, and here comes pressure the other way, and create one-on-ones. That's what you want. And very rarely do you have somebody that just comes free, and that happens from time to time. But you want to look up and see, 3 of their guys trying to block 1 of your guys, and then you got one-on-ones everywhere else. You've done a good job in your blitz plan.
Coach, look ahead to Amarillo. Obviously, a very close game like last season. Last season was a very close game, 3-point game. What are you expecting to see from them?
More the same. This is a team that falls a lot in line with Abilene High that we just saw. So we're playing 2 really good opponents here, and again, in week 3. So this team, Amarillo, is picked right under Abilene High in their district, so they're right there at the top. They return everybody that they had as well from a year ago. They got a great quarterback. I think he just set the all-time record for yards and touchdowns at the school last week. So they're playing confident football right now. When you got returning players at a lot of key positions, that's beneficial to you. So I expect another great game. I'm happy to be back at home and right here, our first game Friday night this season in front of a home crowd. Should be a great environment, a great game.
Coach, let's talk about your offense for a minute. How do you think last week against Abilene High has prepared, specifically Micah, for Amarillo High played much better in the second half than he did in the first half. You could kind of see the growth in real time. So just talk about Micah and what he's doing to prepare for Amarillo High.
Yeah, it was a great practice this morning already. We've got a great start to them. I think our entire offense, kind of the development of what we want to do, from an offensive mindset on, how every game has its own formula to win. And this game, that defense returned 9 starters on a really talented defense from a year ago. They had a nose tackle who was a handful. He was very hard and caused a lot of disruption in there. And they got veteran defensive backs. In the middle of their defense was the strength of it. Linebackers and fit in the run. It was tough to run the football. And when it's tough to run the football and they play a shell of a coverage, then a lot of balls have to be thrown underneath. And they force you to kind of dink and dunk things and try to run the ball to move it. So, and then they're hard to run it on. So that's why they're a good team. So we knew this would be kind of a pick your poison from time to time. I've always said this about quarterbacks: decision-making, athleticism, and accuracy. 1, 2, 3. His decision-making was good. There's some in there where he saw a pre-snap picture and it changed post-snap, and we'd like to have those back. And he saw a lot. I mean, he made a lot of great decisions pre-snap with what he wanted to do with the ball. And then the athleticism, he made some plays with his legs, with the first touchdown, pulling it, getting into the end zone down there, and had a guy in position to tackle him, was able to make him miss. And that's what we want. You're not always going to walk in scot-free. It's you against somebody else, and you got to win. And then a nice long run he had on the outside. But I thought we did. We got in a little more of a rhythm as the second half came. You openers are always hard. You kind of saw a picture that they did in the scrimmage, and are they going to do that? Are they going to do something completely different? And we saw a little bit of that as well. So there's a little cat and mouse game within that, as well, in the beginning of the games. And unfortunately for us, those 2 non-offensive touchdowns kind of put us in a hole a little bit in there. If the game had been a little bit tighter, I think it might have played out a little differently. But was proud of the way our offense handled things and developed and kept moving. Got the ball in the end zone a few more times in the second half, and that's just leading us right into hopefully a great week of preparation this week.
I don't think anyone knew how fast Micah was.
He gets that speed from his mom. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, she's the speedster in the family, but I think that's probably what he's faster than people think, and so he did a good job when he had the ball in his hands. We like that. Sometimes that's a good call. You got everybody running it deep, and you got coverage sinking off, and let's go. Take off and get out there and run with it. And yeah, he was able to turn the corner and outrun the defense to the end zone.
Coach, for those who maybe haven't catched any highlights, they haven't, really read an article or anything, what are you going to show them on the field this Friday night? What are you hoping that they come out and see?
Well, hopefully they see clean football again. We played, I wanted to be, in mid-season form in terms of our operation, what we're doing, and I thought we did that. I thought there's just 4 penalties for 30 yards in a game. I'll take that every week of the season if you told me I could have that right now. That's relatively clean football in terms of an operation standpoint. But I just want to see those big mistakes limited. We can't afford 2 non-offensive touchdowns. Just can't happen. If we play cleaner football, in terms of those things where we can take care of the ball, make sure that we're good in our coverage on all our kicking units, and then just do a good job. We're going to have a good defense. Our offense is going to be able to move the ball, but we've got to be firing on all cylinders at the same time. I want to see more consistency within all 3 units together at the same time.
Yeah, Coach, how do you get your team to not overreact, or I guess underreact to what happened last Friday against Abilene?
Well, I think that, we talked about it, and I think one thing about football is you don't have any time to really worry about celebrate a win or worry about what happened in a loss. We address those things. We bring them up on Saturday. We discuss, we talk, we go over, we make sure we correct the things that are wrong, and then you turn the page, And so I think in football, the greatest part about that is Monday morning, we're right back at it in practice, and you got no time to think about what happened, the good, the bad, the ugly. Whatever it is, we got to move forward. We got a new plan. I'm kind of a tear the game plan down to the studs every week and rebuild it guy. And what is the formula that's going to look like to win this week? And it may be completely different than weeks before. So I think the guys have done a great job. Their attitude, focus, energy was great, hungry, ready. They're excited to play at home. I expect a great week.
Yeah, even on a holiday, the guys were out here early practicing. I saw when I was driving to work this morning, just how hungry are they to just put that in the past and say, okay, time for the home opener, let's get it going.
Well, they are. I think that, we have a saying around here, on Labor Day, we labor, and they were ready to go to work. And so they were here early. The parking lot was half full by the time I got here. So that's really good. You got guys in and out. of the building, getting with their coaches, making sure they're go ahead and getting the scouting report a little bit early to dive into it. I just got a group of guys that really does. They want to perform, they want to do right, they want to do well, they want to learn, they want to grow. And I think when you play quality people, that you don't schedule for comfort, you schedule for challenge, and you play quality people, you see those things. And then now you're able to address those things and prepare your team for the district schedule.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.